What's good, guys? Charles and Team COG coming at you guys here with this straight fire deck profile. Like I just said in the title, this deck is a Fire Fist. So like this deck is straight fire, as in maybe not in the sense of its plays, but in the sense of the attribute, it's all fire. There is not a single non-fire attribute in the deck. So I decided to pick this deck up through the Plague, and quite enjoyed the playstyle of it. It's very much a very combo-centric deck. It has some pretty crazy +11 combos and stuff like that. And yeah, so like there's not really much more to go about it. The deck does have the deck is strong. I guess let's go ahead and touch base on its counters that it can kind of do. It can counter the Dark Ruler no more because of this counter trap, and then thanks to like the ritual monster in the deck that they have access to, they have the ability to stop and brew you in some awkward hands. So that makes sense. Like sometimes like in awkward hands you can put Elend under 5 summons, which is not too bad. But for the most part, Fire Fist Eagle is just a remarkable link support for the deck. The only problem I have with this card is it says it can only be special summoned once per turn, and I think that was unnecessary, but again, the deck did get some pretty powerful cards in Fist the Gadget, but then on the same coin, they got some very powerful cards. We got Konami put some very unnecessary restrictions on them, in just my opinion. So without further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and jump into the deck profile. This is like my 3rd time trying to do this deck profile, and I'm going to try to swing through it as fast as I can. Also, guys, please remember, if you guys want to join the Crusade, think about hitting that join button down below and become a member and get your awesome perks and rewards. Please remember, if you guys see any of these cards you want, check out our TCG affiliate link down below in the description, along with all of our other sponsors. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into the profile. So we play 3 Elephant. So let me go ahead. Elephant here is essentially your, like, I don't know how to put it. I call it a stender. It's a starter plus an extender. All Fire Fists, or most of the Fire Fists, have the effect that they have to pay cost by sending face-up fire formation to spell or traps from the field to the graveyard in order to resolve their effects. So Elephant's effect is you send off a fire formation to special summon one from the hand. Then you can shuffle back a fire formation spell or trap from the graveyard to add a level 5 or higher Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand, which of course can be Panda, Elend. I think there's another big one that's Swan or something like that. No, Swan's in the extra deck. I forget which one this other big one is. Goose, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but it's really good. He's actually my favorite. Just the artwork on this card is beautiful. And yeah, he's essentially like a starter plus an extender. And yeah, let's just go ahead and keep moving on. These guys are pretty cool in my opinion. I think I love the art. So here's one of the best, but one of the most restrictive cards of the new support that they got. That is in the sense of Fire Fist Panda. So Panda is like a multi-faker, except for it triggers whenever a fire formation card is activated, that being spell or trap. So like when you activate the counter trap on resolution, you can special out the Panda. But he is a monster reborn, so like essentially whenever you activate a fire formation spell or trap, you can activate his effect. He special summons himself, then monster reborns one from the graveyard, but then you cannot summon for the rest of the turn anything except for Fire Fist monsters, and that's where the unnecessary restriction comes in, because without that restriction, Panda would just be so much better. But again, it's like a necessary evil. Like, though it has that restriction, like I believe you must play 3 of it just because of how powerful it is. It also provides blanket protection, so then like my board, I'm always trying to end on like Elend, Swan, Cento, and a Panda, just because Panda is like a blanket protection. We have a watered down Trident, a monster negate, and a spell negate, so it's pretty cool if you ask me. The card is like, especially like, again, like it can trigger off of the counter trap too. So like when you activate Cento on your opponent's turn, you can special summon this down. And I do believe it's like ruled a similar way as the True Kings are. So like it's all one effect. So they don't have anything to strike or stop the summon. It's all one effect. So then Panda comes down and summons all at the same time. So if they don't have the way to stop it in the hand, they can't stop it on the field. So yeah, that's it for Panda. Panda. We'll move on to 3 Dragons. So Dragon is really cool. Actually, out of all the Fire Fists, I don't like his pose per se, but I like his armor a lot. But a Dragon is essentially the not once per turn, or not a hard once per turn monster reborn for the deck. Very similar to Panda, except for your normal summon, send 2, except for if we have Eagle out on the field, we don't have to send for cost or pay cost. So essentially you just normal this and monster reborn a card that's not Dragon. So there is a very cool little loop that I'm still trying to figure out and test with, and that is like the Bear and Tiger King loop. You essentially just use Bear to pop Tiger King. Tiger King loops these guys out, and so far I've had to use Panda in order to get there, so I'm trying to figure out the combo without Panda so that I can potentially abuse some more rank 4s in the extra deck. So he also has the effect of whenever a fire formation card is activated, you can set a fire formation trap directly from your deck. So it allows you to get immediate access to Sinto, which is extremely important. It's one of our main negates this board ends on. Moving on, guys, we do have 3 fire formation Raven. So Raven here is extremely powerful. It's a normal summon that we normal summon this, go into Almirage, and it lets us set a fire formation spell directly from the deck. So it allows us to get Tanky, Tensu, Dome, Engine, Yoko, the Fire Fortress, whatever we really need. And it's just really good. This card, if you guys aren't too familiar with, if you guys are familiar, these 2 cards right here is like a +11 combo in itself. It was shown by Konami through like MST TV's channel. And I think Team Sam also showed the +11 combo. So do keep that in mind. Raven's really powerful. It's also like a good extender off of the Elephant too. So Elephant, it like wants to summon out essentially Raven or Rooster. And Raven's just remarkable because Raven essentially is like gets your engine going. It meets both the requirements as both a starter and extender. It starts the combos by essentially getting a fire formation from the deck essentially. And yeah. Moving on, we play 2 Rooster. So Rooster here is like the Stratos of the deck. When Rooster is summoned, it allows you to add any Fire Fist card, excuse me. I get the tongue tie in those two. I get any Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand. And then that's a hard once per turn, but the soft once per turn has the ability to send a fire formation spell or trap from the graveyard, or gosh darn it, from the field to the graveyard to have the ability to set another one directly from the deck. So this is like how you can proc off Dome, proc off Engine to get their floating abilities, or pretty much get access to them immediately. There is a cool like 2-card combo. It's like Red Resonator and Tanky that is like you abuse Rooster and you pretty much just use Rooster's effect twice. You use a Rooster's effect twice throughout a turn. And it's just really important in that combo because we use Horse Prince, etc. But for the most part, Rooster is important because if you don't have this in your hand to summon off of Elephant, you need to have it in the deck to send off of the Eagle so that we can get her. Like, there's 2 like routes to this deck, I believe. Like 2 kind of. There's a Fire Fist axis where like you get restricted into Fire Fist through Panda, or there's the Horse Prince axis where you don't get restricted into Fire Fist, but you're restricted into the levels that you can summon. So. And like I'll show you guys the Horse Prince combo in a test hand video coming up, so stay tuned for that. But for the meantime, like 2 Roosters, I wouldn't play 3 because you don't want to see this in your hand. However, it's not like it's definitely, I take that back. Like you don't mind seeing it in your hand if you have Elephant and the correct cards in your hand to like make use out of it. But for the most part, you want to send this off of Eagle so that you can bring it back with the Panda. For the final one-ofs, 1 Buffalo, 1 Spirit, and 1 Bear. So believe it or not, I have a very weird opinion of Bear. I'm not a fan of Bear. The only reason I'm playing it is essentially the one time it's come up that I've been able to normal summon this on turn 3 and pop something for free. That's essentially it. It does have that cool interaction with the Tiger King, but outside of like, it's very, like there's just more powerful boards I believe you can set up outside of going for like the Tiger King loop. However, like I've not been able to figure out the combo to where I don't need like using it without Panda. So then like in that sense, if I can figure out how to do it without Panda, then it would be good because essentially the Tiger King and Bear will get you like 2 free rank 4s, which is extremely powerful. And then Spirit's just in here because it's a good follow-up for the 6-axis play in the deck. It's also very intricate into that combo I was telling you through the Horse Prince route. You normal summon this to bring back the Rooster, and I'm not going to spoil it, you go into whatever you want. And then of course you have Buffalo here. Buffalo is just a good card to send with Eagle as well, to Monster Reborn back for essentially free. But yeah. For the final Fire Fist, we do play 1 Elin. So one of the main reasons I really like this deck was the ability for the deck to end on Elin. It like ends on a ritual monster. Elin doesn't destroy, which is probably one of the weakest part about it. But like the ability to like smack this down in like some of the rogue matchups, like especially since Necros is going to be back, will definitely, in testing, in theory, should be pretty good. But we'll have to see. I don't know who else is playing Fire Fist in 2020, but Elin's like one of like the cards I always try to hang on. That's where like. I have to like try to struggle which route to go because I enjoy, like I want to end my board with Elin on it, and if you go the Horse Prince route you can't do that. So definitely some sacrifices have to be made when playing the deck, especially when you got to choose the right combo route to go down. But for you guys who don't know, outside of Elin's monster negation effect, it has the ability to discard a fire monster. I believe you can discard 1 monster, set 1 fire formation spell trap directly from your deck. So it has that access to it. Allows us to pretty much set whatever we really need by just having a discard an extra Ash, discard an extra card that we're not using throughout our combo to pretty much get the counter trap or an additional spell that we need directly from our deck. And then it has the ability to send, I believe, 1 face-up fire formation card to negate an effect, so you don't have to pay that under Eagle, but if you have Dome out, you can use Send Dome to have the ability to Monster Reborn a card, so definitely pretty good. But that's it for the Fire Fist cards. Moving on, we play 3 Red Resonator. This is essentially to allow us to extend into the level Synchro 6 axis of the engine, like Horse Prince or Vulcan. You can potentially, I've thought about cutting this down to 2. I've been testing it at 3 and just kind of, until I can figure out a good card to cut this down for, that allows it to like not brick or like, you know, like maybe Upstart or something like that. Maybe, I'm not too sure, but until then, 3 Red Resonator is really good. Potentially, I thought about even playing like the Resonator Call, like 2 and then 1, because then like it's a spell card, it won't be dead, it'll get us to the Red Resonator. So outside of the Synchro 6 access to this variant, it is a level 2, so like Eland is a level 6, so there's been a lot of times where like you've just been able to pretty much have this in your hand, bring back the Buffalo, and then fusion summon, excuse me, not fusion summon, ritual summon using Red Resonator and any level 4 or the Buffalo to bring out Eland without using like card resources on your field. So that is a good aspect of it when you decide to go to the Fire Fist route and keep this in your hand, as you do have the ability to ritual it off. So yeah, moving on, guys. 3 Ash Blossom Enjoy Spring. So this card, so like do the Horse Prince combo. Like a lot of people, like I normally in combos, like when they do combo hands or explain stuff, if they count hand traps and hands as disruptions, I normally don't accredit it, because you have to pretty much, you don't search them, you have to hard draw them, and unless your deck is like essentially like hand trap deck, which you can almost guarantee that you'll see at least 1 hand trap in your hand. I normally disregard hand traps as being any form of disruptions when people are describing their ending boards. However, in this deck, you have the ability to end with an searchable Ash Blossom to your hand, which is a guaranteed disruption. So it's really good. It's fire. We can add this back off of Lion Emperor, which of course is used into the Horse Prince combo, so stay tuned for that. That is it for the monsters, guys. We have a huge chunk of monsters here, so the rest are pretty much spells, and we'll jump right into it. 3 Fire Formation Tinky, the Rhoda of the deck, not much to say. Like this card's just Red Resonator plus this card is like a full Horse Prince combo, which is really good. 3 Tensu. Tensu is actually one, in my opinion, in some instances better than Tinky, just because it gives you an additional normal summon and the ability to continually activate it. So like Tinky, you can only activate 1 per turn. So like having the ability to reactivate Tensu here just allows us to pretty much proc off the Panda whenever we really need to. And they do both give an additional 100 attack, which sometimes can come up, especially since Panda and Elan are like your biggest main deck monsters, so they become like 23 and the 25, I believe, so do keep that in mind. 2 Dome. Dome is the best one out of the 2 like new ones, like Dome and Engine. It's the ritual spell, but on top of that, it's a Monster Reborn. When it's sent from the field to the graveyard, it Monster Reborns a Fire Fist from your graveyard, which is really, really powerful. And you just do if you open this along with you open this with like the Red Resonator and the Tinky, you won't be able to ritual summon due to Horse Prince's restriction, but you can sack off the Dome with Rooster to get a Monster Reborn to pretty much continue climbing up into like your generic Link plays, which you'll see in the extra deck. But yeah, Dome is pretty good in my opinion. The Monster Reborn is really nice. Fire Formation Engine. This is the fusion spell. It's not as good as Dome because it just adds the card from your graveyard to your hand, but with that being said, the ability that you have to recur resources to the hand for the follow-up, or to get hand resources so then you can follow up with the Dome after using Engine, and so you don't have to ritual summon use monsters from your field, can become pretty cool. And again, like I said, like the ability to recur resources from the graveyard is never something to diminish. So like even though like Dome's like better, this is still something you have to play. And the fusion monster, we'll get into it when we get to the extra deck. I like the fusion, even though I believe it's just a watered down Trident, but we'll keep going. For finally, the final one-ofs. 1 Yoko and 1 Fire Fortress atop of Liang Peak. So Liang Peak is always treated as a Fire Formation card, do take that in mind. It's just something, again, these 2 cards are similar to Tinky. They are not limited to being activated once per turn, whereas like Dome, Engine, Tinky are. Tensu and Yoko and Fire Formation, or the Fortress, can be activated multiple times. Yoko is her main deck out to Mystic Mind, just by having this activate this card, target 1 face-up card you control, discard 1 Beast Warrior monster, destroy that card, and again it gives 100 boost. Liang Peak is very interesting in the sense of what it does. It holds counters, and you get cards based on the effect. But for the most part, the 6 and the 10 are the most important. Remove 6 at any Beast Warrior. Remove 10, special summon a Beast Warrior from your extra deck or main deck, ignoring summoning conditions. But normally we won't reach the 10 threshold unless we use Panda, which in case we can only summon Fire Fist, so we can just beam out Eland or Swan from the extra deck or main deck. Moving on, we do play 3 Call by the Graves. In my opinion, this deck is very So like this deck's ceiling is not very high. It's not, you know, by any means it's not way up there in this, in like World Chalice, like Guard Dragon plays, you know, you name it, Man Emancipator. The deck's combo is centric, but the deck ends board is definitely like mid-range to say. Like I shouldn't use the term mid-range, but that's the best way I can do it. It's not like crazy, so, but it's very fragile in the sense of like, since you only end on like certain negates and you don't have like a busted board, you need to play Call by the Grave so that you can for sure end on your negates that you need to end on. So, but a lot of things can't be Ash Blossom in the deck. I guess like Rooster can be Ash Blossomed. Not a lot of things can be ashed, but some things can be Effect Veilered and stuff like that. But in which case, that's what Call by the Grave's for. If they have impermanence, I mean, we just kind of have to, gotta just cry. Just cry. But anyway, guys, continuing to Fire Formation Center, this is the counter trap. This card, again, similar to Panda, should have had the ability to be an Omni Negate, but it just negates spell and traps. And I can see why Konami kind of did this, because the deck's like main purpose is to pretty poop out Eland. So then you end on Eland plus Cento, you cover like spell trap and monster negate. So, and it's very good. You usually can set one up on your turn and then set one up for the opponent's turn. So then like you have a Cento set for your opponent, and then you have a Cento set for your following turn. So then you're protected. So that's it for the main deck. Let's just go ahead and jump into the extra deck. We play 2 Eagle. Eagle is phenomenal for what it does. I mean, 100%. It is one of the best support cards I've ever seen, except for the fact that it can only be special summoned once per turn. For you guys who don't know what Eagle does, Eagle allows you to bounce any fire formation from field or graveyard to your hand, and then Foolish Bale any Fire Force monster from the deck. So, and then on top of that, the most important effect is it allows you to not have to pay cost for all your Fire Fist monster effects. So, 2 Eagle, 1 Peacock. Peacock's in here because Peacock is essentially a Borreload Savage, or not Borreload Savage, I wish it was Borreload Savage, a Borreload Dragon for the deck, in the fact that we can steal monsters and stuff like that. A problem that I do have with this card is the fact in like what Panda interacts with. So Panda restricts you to only summoning Fire Fist, so you steal something with Peacock, and unless you're going for the kill shot, you can't really link into any other Fire Fist card because there's nothing else to go into. So then if you don't kill them, Peacock just gives the monster back to him, so then do keep that in mind. I wish this card had the same effect as Eagle, that it, you know, subjugated for the cost, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. Moving on for the links, 1 Almirage, we link Ravenoff into this. 1 Halifibrax. Halifibrax is in here because of the Horse Prince combo, which I will show you guys in the test hand video. And then same with Apollosa, Goddess of the Bow, or Bow of the Goddess. It is essentially in here for the Horse Prince combo as well. But Halifibrax can beam you out Red Resonator, Spirit if you need to. It can beam you out Ash Blossom, hint, hint, wink, wink, to the upcoming Horse Prince combo. That is it for the Link monsters. Moving on to the XYZs, we played 2 Tiger King, 1 Cardinal, and 1 Lion Emperor. So Tiger King is in here because it's a skill drain during your opponent's turn. It allows us to grab a Fire Formation card from your deck on summon, and then if you have the ability to loop it with Bear pops this floats out to 2 dragons, and then, you know, just continually go on that way. Cardinal is essentially our unicorn of the deck, except for 2 monsters. Allows us to spin back 2 cards, and then Lion Emperor is just the ability to recur resources from the graveyard, and also it's for the Horse Prince combo as well. Now again, guys, this is a 14 card extra deck. I should have said that in the very beginning, but I'm trying to hurry here so the video is not too long, because I could go on for hours about this deck. This is a 14 card. A 15th card you could put in Dweller, Baguska, Tornado Dragon, whatever you choose to put in. So just keep that in mind. Like, that's it for the XYZs, but you should play 1 more in the form of like Dweller or something. But moving on for Synchros, we have Horse Prince, Vulcan the Divine, and Horse Prince, and also I guess we'll go ahead and throw in Desert Lotus. So Horse Prince is in here because the Horse Prince side of the combo is really powerful. Vulcan the Divine is in here because even if you go like the Fire Fist route and don't go into Horse Prince, if you can search out the Spirit, turn 3 normal summon Spirit, revive Rooster, effect to search, whatever you want, or just abuse the Rooster however you want to, and then Synchro into Vulcan. Then Vulcan bounces a card and bounces one of your opponent's cards. It's just certain utility, this like 6 access here that I want. It's just, you can't really beat it. And then Desert Locust is in here because we are summoning this off of Halifibrax for another form of disruption during an opponent's turn. We pretty much beam it out, and then we have like multiple negates, and we're ripping a card from our opponent's hand thanks to Desert Locust. So it's the best card I could find for form of disruption outside of like TG Hyper Librarian. I wish I had the space to maybe play another form of a Synchro monster because of Locust is a quick effect to a Synchro summon, but extra deck space is really tight. For the final card, we do play one Swan. So Swan is a watered down Trident. So this is one of the like most upsetting, but like you kind of have to play it sort of cards in my opinion. It's a quick effect. It's a Trident, Zodiac Trident. Pop a card on the field only during the battle phase, and that just, oh my goodness. So it also burns, so in time that's pretty good, but it is, like I've just said like the past 3 times, it's a watered down Trident. It only can pop during the battle phase. However, if you end with like this Eland and like Cento, that's 3 forms of interruption right there. And normally if they're going to try to, it's very awkward because they don't remove Swan during the battle phase. You're just going to be able to pop something along with they're having to deal with like the monster negate off of Eland and the Cento and potentially whatever else you have. And then not to mention you actually have protection with Panda, probably going to be on the field as well. Swan's just a problematic card. I wish it was during the mid phase, which you could just, interrupt your opponent's plays, but it's just more so in the battle phase, so then you just kind of interrupt your opponent's battle phase. And I thought about not playing this card, but then like a good old YouTuber named Team King of Games said in order for them to actually kill me, they have to go in the battle phase. So by still having that disruption during the battle phase, it's pretty powerful and pretty good. So anyway, guys, that's it for the deck profile. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please remember to hit the join down below if you haven't already, and if you want to become and support the channel. Also, stay tuned for future test hands and combos. And this is Charles with Team COG, signing out.